Hi everyone, my name is Shaw Spencer and this is my amazing co-host.
I'm Terzel Ron and this is Good Day Queens Edition.
We're your one-stop shop for every and anything Queens related. It gets no better than this. Everything you need to know about what to do and who to meet in Queens, trivia, history, and more, it's all right here.
That's right, let's get right into it.
With the hustle and bustle of our daily commute, we often overlook the amazing murals and other paintings in our subway stations. It's amazing the stories that these underground art pieces tell and the way they elevate the visual character of our city's subway system.
In today's episode, I will show you the history of the art and design that has been going on in the subway transit system, starting with the graffiti of Queens trains, the E and W train.
Off and lose my shadow. Don't know where, but I know I got to win. Meet somebody at a corner lane. I'm a Scooby-Doo, so I don't be late. If I take my vine, I make it on time. And if not, they'll be on my behind. I get there late, but better later than never. And when I get there, whatever is clever, I won't be stopped by Jake or Cop. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Cause I'm Some people say that I'm living inside the fast lane. Some even say that I'm going insane. Yesterday I called my mother up on the phone. Hello. She said, son, when are you coming home? How many places do you have to go? Tell me, please, cause I'd like to know. I haven't seen my brothers in a year or two. They're anxious to know what I'm going through. My father wants to know if I'm taking care of myself. And he hasn't seen me since December 12th. My grandmother hasn't seen me since the 8th. And she wants to know if I'm keeping the faith. Nanny, granny, please don't hit me on my fanny. Tell grandpa that I said hi. I gotta go, see you later, goodbye. Cause I'm Tell him, Mike G. Stop, hold it, freeze, now.
I will always be a fan of underground art and the artists who create them.
They're so talented and it makes those crazy commutes underground a bit more bearable.
Right. Hey, Terzel, have you ever been in a crowded subway station or train?
Man, I hate being in crowded subway stations. I'm in there all the time.
It's insane, but hundreds, even thousands of people take the bus and train every day in Queens. But where are they going? What is there to see once you get up for one of those mini stops?
I'm glad you asked that. There's so much to do and see, as well as places to eat in Queens. Here are some of my favorite Queens things. As you may know, Queens is the largest and most eastern borough, filled with rich and bubbling cultures, all adding something special to our city. Take the large Asian culture in Flushing, similar to Chinatown in our sister borough of Manhattan. Asian food and architecture can be seen there. Other cultures represented would be that of the Mexican community found in Corona along the 7 line. There is a myriad of Mexican restaurants to choose from. If you prefer Thai food, try The Town or Elmhurst. Try Indian food, for Indian food. Go to Jackson Heights for Greek restaurants and culture. This food will have you screaming Opa in no time. Popular restaurants around this area also include Mr. Taverna Kai Plates, and Stamatis are the most popular. That's not to say you have to go to a fancy restaurant to enjoy a good meal. Gregory's 26th Corner Taverna is also a popular favorite. Astoria is also the home of the most Greek restaurants outside of Athens and has Peruvian, Tibetan, Egyptian, Colombian, and Japanese restaurants to boot as well. Another great thing to do in Queens is to go to an art museum. MoMA PS1 is located in Jackson Heights and is one of the largest art museums in the country, dedicated to contemporary art. There are even live music performances from time to time. Long Island City residents can even get one of these tickets for free with proof of residency. Consider going to a Mets game at Citi Field or going to the site of 2 World's Fairs in Flushing Meadows Park. Visit Louis Armstrong's house in Corona, which is now a museum. Ella Fitzgerald and James Brown's homes are in the same neighborhood as well. Of course, you can also catch a tennis game at Arthur Ashe Stadium, including the Grand Slam, or go to Long Island City waterfront for a front row at the 4th of July fireworks show.
Wow, I was born and raised in Queens, and I didn't even know some of those places existed. Some of those are definitely going on my bucket list.
It makes sense why those trains are always crowded. Why stay home when there's so much to do?
Exactly. But wouldn't it still be nice to get on a train that's not crowded? All of those places you just mentioned are perfect to take your friends, family, or significant other to. But what about your pet? They love the outdoors too. Don't fret, New York City pet lovers, especially my Queens pet families. Today we feature what began as a playground for kids, but is now a playground for all of the family to enjoy, including those four-legged members.
Just over the bridge from New York City's largest lake, Meadow Lake, which sits in the second largest city-operated park in New York City, Flushing Meadows Corona Park, often referred to as Flushing Meadows Park, you'll find a park for the underdogs of the city, the Underbridge Dog Run. The Dog Run is named after the pedestrian bridge that connects this park to the adjacent Flushing Meadows Corona Park, the second largest city-operated park in New York City and site of the 1939, 1940, and 1964-65 World's Fairs. The park is located on Grand Central Parkway between 64th Avenue and 64th Road. The city purchased this property located at the base of the pedestrian footbridge that passes over Grand Central Park in 1938 as part of the Flushing Meadows Park. It was designated as a separate park in 1980. Through its history, the park was known simply as West Meadow Playground. Although a playground was never built in this park, in recognition of its use as a public dog run, it was renamed Underbridge Dog Run. To address the needs of the Underbridge Dog Run, the Underbridge Underdogs was developed as a community group in order to address and meet the needs of the dog run. A community group dedicated to providing a safe, clean place where dogs can play and exercise off-leash was born. Often hosting holiday parties for their pets, volunteers also come together to replace mulch, focus on weeding, planting flowers, and painting park benches, making Underbridge Dog Run a pet lover's dream and a playground for their pets in the city of Queens.
Crazy idea. Can we end the show here and go to the dog park? That looks like so much fun. Do you have a dog?
Unfortunately, I don't, but I know that if I did, there's places that I could take them. I might just reconsider getting one. Speaking of underdogs in the field, let's go to our favorite trivia road dog, Phil.
How's it going, Queens? Yes, I am Phil Manners, your road dog for Fun Facts of Queens. Today, I'll be telling you some fun facts about the borough of Queens, and yes, there will be a quiz at the end. After all, I am a game show host. Don't quit your day job, Phil. Anyway, today's topic is abandoned railroads. Now let's roll that clip. Many, many years ago, I played baseball at the fields on Fleet Street in Forest Hills. I was usually the outfielder. One day, when running for a home run hit, I came across some torn-up railroad tracks. Being a fan of trains, I wondered where they went. It did not look like trains can run over these tracks anymore. The railroad tracks I found were actually part of a 3.5-mile line from the mainland in Forest Hills all the way down to Far Rockaway. They've been abandoned since 1968. During the years of operation, the bridges crossing Jamaica Bay were made of wood. In 1950, a passenger threw a cigarette out the window, hitting the bridge, lighting it on fire. The fire completely destroyed the bridge, putting the lower part of the line out of service. At the time, the Long Island Railroad was filing for bankruptcy and could not rebuild the bridge. So the city of New York decided to buy the property. The city rebuilt the bridge to run its subways over. Today, we know it as the A train. You can still see part of the railroad while riding the A train in Ozone Park, seen here. The Far Rockaway Railroad continued to operate but terminated at Ozone Park. You can still see parts of this station today over Atlantic Avenue. In 1962, due to lower and lower ridership, the line was abandoned. Since then, the areas along the abandoned railroad tracks seen an increase of houses and businesses. So transportation has become more and more in demand. Therefore, today, the Transit Authority is looking at the possibility in restoring this line as a subway. There are also a group of activists looking to turn this land into a bike/walkway known as the Queensway. The Queensway would be very similar to the High Line on the west side of Manhattan. Okay, so let's see how much you guys and you guys at home have been paying attention. So, for 100 New York Minute points, they're worth a lot. The subway that runs to Far Rockaway is...
That's the A train.
Yeah.
A train is correct. All right. For 500 New York Minute points, the railroad bridges running over Jamaica Bay were made of what building material?
Wood.
Yeah, it has to be wood, right?
Wood is correct. All right. Everyone here is doing a fantastic job. And now, for 1,000 New York Minute points, how long are the abandoned railroad tracks?
Oh, 3.5 miles.
That's correct, 3.5 miles. All right. Now the questions are going to get a little bit harder. For 2,000 New York Minute points, the rail-to-trail park, the Queensway, would be similar to what park in Manhattan?
Central Park?
Is that your final answer?
What do you think?
I think so.
Central Park?
Central Park? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That would be the High Line. The High Line. All right, so you don't get 2,000 New York points for that. All right, so here's the big one. For 1 million New York points, New York Minute points, I should say, what large park do the abandoned tracks flow through? What large park in Queens?
That one has to be
The Ozone Park.
Ozone.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
Yeah, that's
That would be Forest Park.
Forest Park.
I'm
Oh, God,
sorry. Forest Park, the largest,
Oh,
one of the largest park
man.
in Queens. All right. All right, guys. Great job. Thank you all for watching. And now back to you at the desk.
But we still got it.
Yeah, even though that was kind of tricky, I still let you win.
Yeah, that's what they all say, right?
I mean, hey,
Don't be a sore loser.
you lost though.
You know what? Let's just go to the next topic. Let's
All
get
right,
back
guys,
into it.
let's get back into it. We've covered so much in Queens thus far. Can you believe there's still more to talk about?
There's always a lot to talk about in Queens.
We've explored and unpacked Queens from end to end, and we've met some amazing people and even some four-legged friends. We've discovered some of the best places to eat, most exquisite food in the borough, and there's never a shortage of food options in the most diverse neighborhood in New York City. We have only one thing left to do, and that's find some events, of course. Queens is home to some of the most creative, artistic, and athletic individuals. With a large range of lounges, stadiums, concert halls, and classes, there's activities for everyone in Queens. And you're in luck. Summertime is the perfect time to get out, enjoy the weather, and explore everything that Queens has to offer. Queens is known in the summertime for concerts like Summer Stage in the City, where is usually held in Flushing Meadow Park. And this time around, we had Kool and the Gang, one of the longest running R&B groups in history. They've helped shape funk and soul as we know it and have inspired dozens of admirers and other talents since their inception in 1969. Also, we have the 2018 Grooving in the Park concert held in Roy Wilkins Park on June 24th. Grooving in the Park is North America's largest annual reggae and R&B concert. Tickets only run for $70. Everyone knows that July 4th is the official marker of summer, and there's a free pre-Independence Day celebration in Fort Totten Park on June 27th from 6 to 10 p.m. The celebration includes a music concert and fireworks, of course. Movies Under the Stars is another Queens resident's favorite. You can watch any movie in Queens between 8 and 10 p.m. in various parks. They show movies like Moana, Jumanji, and The King and I. What's a summer without taking a trip over to none other than Citi Field to support our very own New York Mets? With numerous home games in July and August, get your Mets gear, your friends, your family, and even your boo, and head over to the field. For artistic Queens residents, there's plenty of poetry slams, open mics, and my personal favorite, painting classes. You can unleash your inner Mona Lisa right here in Forest Hills for under $35 at none other than Painting with a Twist. And it also includes everything, including the wine. So get out and explore Queens, and there'll also be so much food to eat.
The possibilities seem endless. And now for my favorite part of the program, where we highlight the people of the great city, shining a spotlight on the kings and queens of the borough.
The people that make this borough the best in all of New York City.
Welcome to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, showcasing the unique ethnic diversity of Queens and spotlighting the queens and the kings of Queens. Our young men and women making waves and contributing immensely to the development of the city and the state. These are the queens and kings of Queens. While in high school, Ifedayo Famojoro and Khalil Anderson jointly raised over $2 million for various projects in high schools in the Rockaways. As key members of the New York City Participatory Budgeting Committee, Ifedayo is currently a junior at Harvard University, pursuing a double major, government and computer science. He served as a member of Board of Directors of Rockaway Youth Task Force, a teaching fellow of Harvard Computer Science course CS50, and the Director of Internal Affairs of Harvard Computer Society. Khalil is currently a senior in Queens College, pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree in City and Community Medicine. He served as a community liaison person for New York State Senate, the Director of Field Operations of Rockaway Youth Task Force. He is currently organizing the Lupus Awareness Month. These are the kings and queens of Queens.
Those kids are going places for sure.
Yes, indeed. Did he say he raised $1 million? Now that's good parenting.
Something else that's good is the positivity pouring out of Queens residents. Residents like the one that we're going to meet in this next segment. Please welcome Latrice Davis. It's a pleasure to have you here, Ms. Davis. How are you doing today?
I am doing well, and it's my pleasure to be here today with you guys.
We're so happy to have you here. So what do you have for us today?
Well, Dr. Cassandra Walker Phillips has had a lot of difficulties throughout her lifetime. She's been homeless, she's been verbally and physically abused, and she's also suffered from drug addiction. Wow. But yet, she still remains positively determined to reach her life's goals. In spite of all the hardships or the obstacles that have been presented in her lifetime, she has still managed to be positively determined. Dr. Phillips was inspired through her own challenges to write about them after realizing that she needed help. She couldn't do it alone. She went back to school, earning several degrees in religious studies. Wow. She became the wife of a wonderful spiritual person who believed in her goals and supported her as well. She wrote and published her first book, and it's entitled I Need Help. Where she, yeah, you're right, we do. She has written several short poems to inspire others who are suffering from mental, physical, emotional, and financial and spiritual situations, giving them hope and inspiration to seek and how to help them overcome their challenges and to remain positively determined to overcome them all.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Dr. Phillips continues to be positively determined even after being presented with financial crisis. Instead of falling apart, you know what she did? What? She started her own business. She became an entrepreneur.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not only to resolve the financial crisis in her life, but also to generate an income that she could use to cover her many, many needs. I had a chance to sit with Dr. Cassandra, and here's what she had to say.
I have come to be positively determined through 26 long years, and I am striving to keep being positively determined, not to go back to where I was so many years ago. It's been a long road, but one road I am so glad that I had to travel, and it's so many people that are trying to get past everything that has gone on in their lives, but they don't know how to get past it. But you know, we have to embrace our past in order to go forward, because if you do not embrace your past, you are doomed to repeat it. And everyone has a past. We have to learn to live with our past. And that's what keeps me determined to be positively determined in order to keep striving and have a better life, because I can honestly say that I have been through some things. I've been on drugs. I've been on drugs and alcohol. I've been homeless. I've been physically abused. I even mentally abused myself. So, I mean, you know, even though I have suffered those things, but I have learned to leap over all of those bumps that was in my way and continue to run the race. And I am definitely positively determined never, ever to visit that place again.
So as you can see, no matter what challenges in life may be, one can still be positively determined to overcome them all.
Always.
Such an amazing story. Such
Yes.
a blessing to hear it.
Now she's definitely going places. Great story, Latricia.
Thank you guys for letting me tell it. Hope to see you all again.
Yeah.
Stay positively determined.
Now we take you to a man who's heard lots of stories. Some true, some not. But if anything, they're bound to be funny. Our funny man, Paul Murdoch, is in the field with where to go for a good laugh in Queens.
Well, there's no shortage of comedy clubs in Manhattan. The comedy scene is alive and well in Queens. And it's nothing new. While Kevin James may have been the king of Queens a decade ago, the Marx Brothers started in 1929, shooting their first feature film, Coconuts, right in Astoria. I mean, sure, you could cross the East River to get accosted by Elmo and comedy club barkers in Times Square, but the great thing is, you don't have to, unless, of course, that's your thing. Long Island City's The Creek and the Cave got things started over 13 years ago, and today it's still a hotbed of stand-up, sketch, and improv. Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, got his start at The Creek as the comics. And some comics you've seen on late night, including SNL's Michael Shea, The Daily Show's Michelle Wolf, who made waves this year hosting the 2018 White House Correspondents' Dinner. Mark Norman, Sean Patton, and Michael Lawrence have all gotten laughs right in LIC. The newer comedy club Kids on the Block are QED in Astoria, which has stand-up and sketch, but also has courses on knitting and composting. But if you're not into the ins and outs of mulch with your stand-up, you could always grab a craft cocktail at the Standing Room, also in LIC. And it's the sister club of the Stand in Manhattan. So there's tons of open mics around our borough if you prefer your comedy more low-key and outside of the club. And there's even a free comedy festival in Astoria in August if you prefer your comedy al fresco and sans dinero. Or if you like improv but you're into keeping things on the down low, check out the Queens Secret Improv Theater. Could be for you. The secret is out, Queens. You don't have to stray far from home to get your fill of laughing matters. Back to you, Sean Terzel.
Did you know that laughing was one of my favorite things to do?
Oh, really? I mean, yeah, you're always laughing and smiling and joking. I'll let the viewers judge if they're funny or not.
Actually, we're going to leave that to Paul. He's the real comedian here.
True. But guess what?
What?
That's the end of the show.
Are you joking?
It's over.
I was having so much fun here.
I know, so was I, but you know what? All good things must come to an end.
You're right.
Who knew Queens was home to some of the most amazing people, some of the most amazing food, and places to go?
We've learned so much thus far. We've met so many amazing people, and you know what? I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, thank you to our viewers for tuning in and keeping it right local here in Queens. We hope you learned something, and we encourage you to come explore the great borough again.
And a huge thank you to our special guest. We couldn't have done it without you. That's a wrap. I'm Shaw Spencer.
And I'm Terzel Ron. Tune in next time to Queens Things.